let us go for the revision session for some time. By the time let others join. So your conditional statement is, I think, clear. If else, nested if else, etc., and switch case. And we have started with loop control statement. So remember the difference between conditional and loop control. Conditional help us to take some decision based on the condition, whereas loop control statement helps us to repeat the same thing again and again. So what we have repeated is, in this, suppose in this example, what we have repeated is we have repeated addition of 3 with I. What we have repeated, my dear children? We have repeated addition of 3 with I. So we got the output 1 first because I was initialized to 1. Then we have entered inside the loop by checking the terminating condition. So what is called terminating condition, which is the middle part of for loop, is called terminating condition, which will help the loop to stop after a certain amount of time. Okay, and so this is the second step. Third step was that key control will enter inside the for loop and it will do the instruction. It will perform the instruction written in the inside the for loop. Then again, then after that, what will happen? This third part of the for loop will be executed. Then after executing, what will happen? I value will be incremented by 3. It was 1, so it will become 4. Then before entering to the loop, I lesser equals to 10 will be checked. So now you are little used to, so I must say that I equals to 1 is initialization, middle one is terminating condition check, and third one is increment or decrement. So all these 3 will be separated by comma. Okay, so 2 commas, 3 statements, and inside that there should be the instruction given. Okay, and last day we have executed also the program for loop. Okay, now by the time all other joins, one small thing I want to tell you that now it is a time you must go through this this part, like this looping concept, at least from the looping concept and conditional statement. You must go through either some book, Kanitkar in C. You can go for which is like a book which we all have studied. Padma Reddy is another book which you can go for. Let us see for Kanitkar. Let us see by Kanitkar or Padma Reddy book. Okay, these two will be convenient in the beginning level. Okay, and one more thing is talking about website. Nowadays we always don't depend on book, right? We go for the website for understanding the things. So you can see here there is a website called Java T-Point. All of you can see. Yes, all of you can see.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Java T-Point. So you may feel that Java T-Point is for Java. No, Java T-Point you have support. You can see here there is a support from Java T-Point for so many languages. Okay, so C, C++, C# or C#, Java, SQL, HTML, CSS, all these supports you will be getting from Java T-Point. One more website is there which is called W3 School. Okay, so this is called W3 School, which is W3 School for C. If you write, not that you have to write for C. So you can get C tutorial, learn C programming, W3 School. So it is not that you have to search with C language. You can just type the topic you want to search from W3 School. You can just type the topic and you can get the topic. So suppose C decision making you want to go for, so you can get help from this W3 School decision making, CE decision making. So you can see that C decision making, like how to start with if else, if else statement, nested if else, else if, go to, switch. So these are the conditional statements we have. Okay, go to is also there, which I have not covered because go to is not much used. But if you want, when we came to that context, we may see once. But go to is like a concept which used to be used earlier days, like programming earlier days, in the sense earlier programming languages used to use, like COBOL, BASIC, Fortran. All those languages had this feature, because before introduction of loop, this feature was used. Even if you do microprocessor programming, you will be introduced with this go-to concept for microprocessor programs. But we are now small, so we don't know all such things. So you can just see the syntax when I'm showing you these websites. You can just once go through. You can see here go to level, then level. It means what you know. Suppose you have a set of codes here, okay, where that dot is given. Okay, now when you are here, when you are at this position, you are instructed to go to level. So what will happen? This in between, this portion, whatever code you have, that will not be executed. You will be reaching to the point where the level is written. Did you understood what I told? Let's say here I am writing go to X. I am writing go to X. So where is X here? Here, suppose I am giving X. Okay, this is not a feature which we much use in C, but because this training purpose is for interview success, getting success in interview. So you must know at least. So X, suppose somewhere X is written in your program. I'm continuing this program. So in this level of X, what I have is printf, let's say hi. So can you tell me what will be the output of this program? See, in this part of the program, it is written that go to X. Okay, so what will happen, you know, this total statement will not be executed. Okay, as if it is not there. Where the control will go? It will directly go to the place. Go to the place. This is called level. Level in the sense, level is nothing but a variable. So go to that variable if it is written. So control will immediately go there. So it is equivalent to not having this portion of code. So control will jump this code and reach to the position and will execute the statement what is written in the level X. So what will be output of this program? The output will be high. Is it clear? For loop will not be getting executed. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
For all of you, any doubt is there in go to?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am, it's clear.
Yes, any doubt?
Yes, ma'am. I was saying that that printf portion 147, like the
No, that is the output I wrote.
Okay. Okay.
It is nothing. So this is a code. After X code started, that is for loop whole. Then level X is there. Level means what? I can write anything. So what I have written and where I want compiler to start executing, there also I have to write the same thing. So if it is XSS I am writing, where I want compiler to move from this point, I must write the same text. Okay. So compiler will go here. So remaining portion of code will not be executed. Okay, so this is jumping the control from one location to another location. But you see here, it is a blind jump. There is no condition based on which we are skipping for loop and we are printing high. Okay, so it is a jump. It is a jump, but unconditional jump. There is no condition specified. In the sense, yes, I can write here. I can make it conditional by writing some statement, like suppose I am writing here if I greater than 90. As of now it was unconditional. Now if it is I greater than 90, so what I should do is go to XSS. So control will move here. Now suppose I value is equals to 10. So is it greater than 90? No, it is not greater than 90. So what will happen, as go to XSS is dependent on I greater than 90. So as I is not greater than 90 as of now, it is 10. So what will happen? Control will not move to this location. Control will not go to this location. So what will happen? This part of code will be, for loop part of code will be executed. Okay. But if in exam, if in interview, not in exam, if in interview it is asked, you must be writing the syntax. This much only, more than enough. I will show you once because I was showing. Go to level. Level means it can be anything, but that same thing should be written, and this ... code will not be executed. This is the forward jump of go to level. So when forward jump is written, you must know the backward jump also. How is backward jump? This is another common question for interview. By using go to, only forward jump is possible, or backward jump is also possible. Yes, forward, backward, both jump is possible. So when you are writing go to level, that level colon, you think that you just remember that after writing level, giving colon is a syntax. You have to give a colon where you want to jump. Then you can write the code after that. So the main learning from here is, skill point from here is, you can go back to the previous like backward part of the program, in the sense previous part of the program also. It is not necessary that where you want to move should be some position after this. It can be some position before this also. Are you all able to understand these two? Are you all able to understand these two?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the interview question from that? Forward and backward use of go to statement. Okay. And it can be asked that any jump statement can be used in C. Jump can be unconditional or not. Yes, it can be unconditional. Like here we have not given any condition. So whatever may be the case, control will move to level. But can we make the jump unconditional? Yes. I can keep one if statement, and if it satisfies, then we can make the go to statement activated. If it does not satisfy, if part does not satisfy, then go to will not execute. So in this case, by using if, we can make go to as a conditional jump, but otherwise it will be unconditional jump. One of you who has asked for getch, can you tell me? Sorry, I forgot the name.
Yes, ma'am. I am asked for getch.
Yes. So you can just quickly see. Later I will execute and show. Getch is used to accept string from user. There are many other users also. Later on, when this I will do in details, I will do. See, as of now you can see, because that day, because of time, I could not able to tell you. So as I'm showing you website, so I will show you in with the help of website. So you can see here stdio.h, conio.h we have included, and now you have got introduced with for loop, not with array, but still this part of program you can understand without using array also. Without knowing the concept of array also. So you can see here there is a character called ch6. Okay, there is a character called C. Okay, let me see whether I have 1 second. Okay, there is a character, I have taken character ch, character name is ch, and 6. What does it mean is, it is a character array. So character array means what? It consists of 6 characters. Is it understandable? What is character 6? What is character 6? Character 6.
Yes, ma'am.
It means what? Ch, if I tell ch0, sorry, ch of 0, in the sense, suppose I want to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 characters. 6 also can be, let me take 8. These all are 1 character. Every time you are pressing a key, you are generating a character. Whether it is a function, like whether it is a star, this is also a character. Whether it is an alphabet, is also a character. Whether it is a integer, is also a character. So what is your character 0 here? Your character 0 here is what? Star. What is your character 1? Character 1 is F. Character 2 is G. 3 is Y. 4 is I. And last character is 8. So if we give indexing like that, in the same name we can store all the characters. But I don't want to make you understand that. You just see the use of it. If I write char of x equals to get ch, what will happen is, what is the x value for the first time? Tell me. What is the x value
0.
for the first time? 0. X is initialized to 0. Okay. So char of 0 is get ch. In the sense, whatever character you are giving for the first time, whatever character you are giving, let's say you are giving the character star. So first position of char, okay, character array looks like that. Okay, why to go for complication? You can take this as, I will just write this code in different way. See, suppose I am taking a for loop for let me not take any for loop. I am just writing get ch. Okay, get ch. I will be, you neglect this capital letter, because capital letter is not acceptable in Turbo C. It will be case sensitive. So I must have to give all the keywords in small letter only. Okay, so here I am writing get ch, and before that, suppose I have given a char. Okay, char of C. So if I write get ch, what will happen? C, as a C, you would have given T, so T will be acceptable. As C, when you are reading the character C, you can give Y, so Y will be acceptable. So afterwards, if you do the printf statement, if you write the printf statement, you will be able to print Y. Okay, let me open once. Somehow it has got closed. 1 second. Okay, one more thing in this context, I will complete getch. Just 1 minute. Let me open. Okay, so this one more thing I want to tell you is, have you copied any program and pasted in Turbo C? Have you tried copying any program from Turbo C? Like from outside to Turbo C? Did anyone try it?
Yes, I pasted it in a single line.
Yes.
I copied his program, but pasted in a single line in Turbo
You have
C.
pasted in a single line. So one more. Okay, getch. I think I did. I will show you. See here. See here. Suppose this program, what you have just now seen, that program, let us execute and see. See here, we have taken char C, and first element we have given as 0. Char C means it can hold 6 characters at a time. Okay, it is a house having 6 rooms. Every room one person can sleep, one person can stay. Okay, so first person will be staying to 0th room because X is mentioned as 0. So in this room, getch will take 1 character and put in that. Okay, then we will be printing the value of ch. Okay, let us run this program. Okay, what I was telling, by the time I will open this, I will discuss. Suppose you have one C program. Okay, suppose you have one C program and you have got it from any of the, from any of your website, like that you are getting, no, this one. You are getting, no, Java T Point or W3 School, all those things. Okay, so suppose you want to copy this program, as suppose for the same program I am showing, you want to copy this program and you want to execute it in Turbo C. So what you will do in this case is, see, this is the program. I will take a copy of this program, suppose this getch program. Okay, completely I should copy any program. I will get, this is some other program, whatever it is. So I will do Control C. I will take a copy of it. Then what I should do is, I will paste it in one new notepad file. I will open one notepad file and I will be pasting it. Understood what we did? We have copied the program and we will be pasting it in notepad. Then we will save it in 2 names. One name is something like try.cpp one, and we will be saving this same to store this text document. We will be saving the same program as try.txt. So what we did, we have saved this program in 2 names. One is try.text to keep the text document as it is, and we will be keeping the same thing. We will be storing the same program in .cpp format. Did you understood? Can any one of you repeat what I told? Can any one of you repeat?
Ma'am, you copy this text and give the name one uh, bxt, and again you copy the text and save as try.cpp.
Yes, very good. So you can see that if you when you open this note thing again, if I close it will take time. When you have copied this, it will not come directly. You can see here, suppose you want to open that, what name we gave? Try. It will not come here directly. We won't get it. I have this file folder, I have showed you before also, training 1. So in that it will not come immediately if you try to open. What you have to do is, after you save that, you won't get it. You first prove that you are not getting it. I'm opening this. See here, try.cpp is not here, not present here. But just previous to that, example.cpp I have saved actually before starting the session. It is there. Why? You need to once close Turbo C, then if you open, the similar way you can get. So the remember the steps. You copy, paste it in Notepad in two format, to retain txt.txt, and to get it accessible from CPP, you copy it in a .cpp extension. Then if your Turbo C is on, please off the Turbo C. Please close the Turbo C. Okay. After closing Turbo C, when you open it again, you can get that try.cpp here. Okay. So otherwise there is no way of copy paste. Copy paste, if it is required, you can do it inside the Turbo C. But outside something, if you copy and paste in this Turbo C version, I am telling, maybe other version it is now allowed. If you are using this version, I am telling. Here what is allowed is, you can just copy something and you can go to again edit and you can paste it. You cannot use Ctrl C and Ctrl V in this Turbo C editor. Okay. So this is the way out which you have to follow. Okay. Now something what we have or some other file which we were seeing, we'll open that. Some other file which we were doing. Did you all understood the procedure?
ম্যাম, এটা আপনি কি দুটো নামে সেভ করেছিলেন বলে try.cpp টা এলো না?
No, not that. You have to close Turbo C and open.
Okay, ma'am.
You have to close. Anyhow, one or other reason it will be closed. Huh? So that time I will show.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So in this, okay. Some problem is happening. I will show you from here only. Okay, you come back to this program. So if you write this program in your terminal, in your Turbo C terminal, char C6 equals to 0 index, and if you write chx equals to get ch, what will happen is you will be getting this printed. How you will be getting this printed? You will be giving, you can give 5 characters. You can give 5 characters when you execute the program. These all 5 characters will be printed. I will repeat once. Suppose in a for loop, inside a for loop you want to use get ch. Okay, outside the for loop also you can use. That is not a problem. So what you are doing is, you are not using any scanf statement here. Okay, first of all, you are not using any scanf statement here. Okay, you can just writing x equals to 0 to 5 and x plus plus. So how many values will be received? X equals to 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. How many characters will be received by this program, my dear children? How many character will be received?
5 characters, ma'am.
5 characters will be received. Okay, so you can give these 5 characters and immediately I will check once last time, maybe there is some problem. 1 second. One minute. Okay, let me run this. Can you see the output?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the output? SSS. Then can you explain?
And one space is there.
Yes, absolutely. 3 character and 1 space. But you see one thing here. Again, I am compiling the program. Okay, I am running the program. Okay, now see here. Can you see anything I am typing? Can you see anything I am typing? Yes or no? Could you able to see anything? Could you able to see anything?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay. What happened is this type of use of getch will help you to type something in a secret way, like in the case of password. When you are typing, you will not be able to see, but it will be taken and you will be getting the, if you want to print it, see how you have printed. Printf received, 1 second. Printf received characters are, I will show you once. See, I have deactivated that line. I have pressed 5R, but in the time I am giving, could you able to see this? You could not able to see this, but it has been taken. Who has taken that? getch has taken. Okay, so but when you are printing, if you want to print it intentionally, at that time you can able to see this, otherwise you cannot able to see this. So it is accepting, but it is not showing until and unless you are printing. So it is just replacement of scanf statement. But in the time, difference between these two are, in the time of scanning, you can see which all characters you are entering. But in the case of getch, you cannot see which all characters are getting typed. Am I clear to all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, can you repeat? Ma'am?
Yes. See, when I have executed the program, I have typed RRRRR. In the time of typing, have you seen I am typing RRRRR?
No.
No, ma'am.
You could not able to see, right? But in the time of printing, if I am printing, then you can see what we have typed. But if it is the case of scanf, then you could have seen the same thing when we are typing. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you all understood?
Yes, ma'am.
We don't prefer using getch. Where we prefer using is in the case of setting password, when you don't want others to see the output. Have you seen in so many cases, like in bank and all, when you are giving password, only stars will be printed. Your whatever actual thing you are printing, that will not come. Okay, because when you are typing something, you don't want anyone to see this. So getCH will take the input in a secret way, in a hidden way. Okay. It will display, it will be stored, but it will be shown when you want to print it forcefully. Otherwise, it will not be shown. So work function of the getCH is to take the input like scanf, but it won't show you what you have typed. Is it understandable?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anyhow, it was not our topic. So where we were, we will go back to that position. So what we were discussing, we have discussed go to, then we will proceed little bit more with little tough part of this session, that is quiz session on for loop. Okay, so in this session I will it is not that I'm asking you, you all can take screenshot and you can tell me the output of this. You can tell me the output of this in the next session also, because next session I will be handling. But before I ask you some more thing, I want to discuss one very important question for interview regarding for loop. There can be a for loop. You concentrate on where I'm typing. There can be a for loop like this. Is it, I'm asking you whether it is acceptable. Can you accept a for loop like this? Just see the highlighted portion. Can you accept a for loop like that? Can we have a for loop like this? What you feel?
No, ma'am.
We feel no, but the answer is yes. Remember, at least one question you will be getting from for loop in one or other way in MCQ 1 to 2. So let us clear that basic of for loop questions. For semicolon is possible. How it is possible? See, for then beginning what we give initialization. We give initialization. Next is condition check, and last one is increment or decrement. Okay. Now what I'm telling is, I don't have this part also. I don't have initialization also. Even I don't have condition check also. So what will happen in this case? What will happen? Is it true or false? So what we feel is no. How it is possible? Okay. But it is possible. Can you guess the output if I say it is possible? What will be the output?
Ma'am, it's an infinite loop.
It's an infinite loop. Can you explain why it is infinite loop?
Ma'am, because there is no condition mentioned over there, so
You can read it. You can read and you can explain. That is also fine. But you need to understand it. All of you, please read this and can you tell me whether you can understand? Okay. So you can keep reading. I will give you time. There is no initialization. Okay. So, okay. Nothing is initialized. No value of I is specified. Okay. Now, this is condition check. Now, main tricks lies in the condition check. Condition check statement is empty. You know what it means? If it is empty, it means it is true. If it is empty, it means it is true. So, there is no increment decrement happening. There is no initialization happening. But condition check is one important thing. Condition check is one important thing where the see, this control enter inside the loop. When it enters inside the loop, when the condition in the middle statement is true, middle statement has not reached to the terminating condition. But if you don't write in C programming for loop, the condition checking, terminating condition, it will always remain true. This part will always remain true. As it is always remain true, so even though there is no initialization and terminating condition, always for loop will be executing. Continuously for loop will be executing. Okay, and it will enter to the infinite loop. Infinite loop means it will be executed forever. If you type this, as of now I won't type, if you type this in your system, when you are typing on infinite loop, at that time you have to press Ctrl Alt Delete to break that. To break infinite loop, you have to type Ctrl Alt Delete or Ctrl Break. Your task manager should start and you should close Turbo C, then you can open the Turbo C once again. Infinite loop means it will be keep on executing. There is no end in that. Okay, so if the question is asked that whether for semicolon is possible or not, the answer is yes, it will be infinite loop. Why infinite loop? Because always for the condition check will be true if it is not specified. So as it is not specified, it will remain true forever and it will be keep on executing. Is it understandable?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Coming to this session, first you take a screenshot. Can you tell me some answer for that? Take 1 minute time.
I think their word CPP bus, it would repeat 5 times in a day.
Can you see one thing here? Can you see one thing here? There is an element called semicolon present here.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Okay.
this program will not be executed. Now it will work.
Now it will work. But if we give this, what will happen? Please.
It only prints CPP bus.
Only one time you are telling?
Yes, only one time.
Can you tell me the reason?
Because ম্যাম বাংলায় বলবো আসলে একটু অসুবিধা
Okay.
ম্যাম এখানে তো আই মেনশন নেই কিন্তু পরে তো আই ইন্টিজারের মধ্যে আই দেওয়া আছে, তো আই যতক্ষণ মেনশন করবো ততক্ষণ তো এই সিপি বাসটা 5 টাইমস রিপিট হবে না।
না।
ম্যাম ওখানে একটা
Why you
সেমিকলন
said
আছে
that
তো
it will be printed only one time? You may be correct, but you need to give us the explanation. We all are students, you are giving answer, so please give us the explanation. Very good,
ma'am,
you can
because
continue.
ম্যাম লুপটা সেপারেট আছে ওখানে, ওটা সেমিকলন দিয়ে এন্ড হয়ে গেছে, তো লুপটা কোন 5 বার নিজে থেকেই ঘুরবে, ঘুরে i is equal to 5 হবে, তারপর লুপের থেকে বাইরে বেরিয়ে printf এর ওই ফাংশনটা রান করবে, করে রিটার্ন 0 করে বেরিয়ে যাবে।
Very good, extremely good. Okay, so what will be the last value of I in this case? Last value of I should be 5. Did all of you understood that last value of I will be C? I think it is not much understandable. So let us discuss it once. What is the I value first? I value was 0. Okay. With I value 0, I less than 5, yes, I less than 5. So control will try to enter inside the loop, but it cannot because there is a semicolon. So it cannot enter to the next line until and unless whole for loop will be completed because we have a semicolon here. Semicolon means for loop will be completed. If we give a semicolon means for loop will be completed. So what will happen in for loop? I value will become 1. Then also even though 2 is lesser than 5, but still because of semicolon, work function of the for loop like changing of I value, checking, everything will be done. But control cannot go to next line because there is a semicolon. So first iteration, I equals to 0. When it was about to enter to the next line, it cannot. So repetition of for loop, iteration, next iteration will start. I equals to 1. Then I will be equals to 2. So like that, lastly I value will be equals to, again I'm repeating, I value will be equals to 5. Why it will be equals to 5? Because when it was 4, yes, condition was true, so for loop will be executing. But when I will be equals to 5, is the condition I less than 5 true? No, because 5 is not less than 5. Okay, so in this case condition is false. So for loop ends here. Okay, so one question left to you. What your friend has told is Kabbas will be printed one time. So you may feel nothing is printed. There will be a confusion between nothing is printed and Kabbas is printed. So your friend's perspective is I value will be 5. I value will be 5. For loop will be ended, and then it will be just like a statement, correct? Int I semicolon. So automatically control goes to next line and execute. So similarly, in the rule of sequential execution, I want to mention the meaning of sequential execution. C is a language which follows sequential execution. Sequential execution means top to bottom. Top to bottom execution. Okay, top down method, it is called top down. First line will be executed first, then control will go to second, third, and so on. Okay, so to disturb sequential execution, sorry, I am going out of this topic because I may not remember afterwards. So sequential execution means line number 1, 2, 3, 4 continuously will be executing, no back control moving. Okay, but go to, because we have studied today, so go to hampers or can change the sequential execution. When go to takes your control back, like it takes your control up, at that time you can move from bottom to top. Okay, so go to is a statement which can break sequential execution, can move the control forward flow of control and make it backward. Other than that, control will be always flowing from top to bottom. So coming to the point, we were here, I value is 5. So now according to the rule of sequential execution, we'll be going to the next line and printf Kabbas will be printed. Is this clear for all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So our confusion is between whether it will be printed one time, because we have got this answer. So is there any possibility of nothing can be printed? That we will clarify in the next class. Take a screenshot. All of you have taken? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you must clarify this answer. If I forget, you must tell me in the next class. Okay. Can you tell me what will be the answer of this? As of now, whatever answer I will get, I will explain that, but I won't say it is 100% correct or not. You take a screenshot first. Okay. Now you analyze and you tell me the answer.
Ma'am, why do you use here for loop 2 times?
Okay. Let me. Okay. I will. Okay. I'll do one thing. Sorry, I could have done it here before. Okay. You see one more type of for loop before we go for that question. Okay. 2 types of for loop I will show you. For loop is a never ending concept, and again I'm telling it's very simple, but twisted questions are many twisted questions are possible from for loop. See here, this is one type of for loop. What we showed in that MCQ I will show next. So what is there, can you tell me? I have I initialized to 0, I have j initialized to 0, then I have given semicolon. Is it understandable, or I will make the font bigger? One second. Can you see this clearly? I equals to 0, j comma j equals to 0, then semicolon, then I less than 5, colon I plus plus. Can you tell me what is the meaning? I have two initialization. Yes, this is also another frequently asked question in interview. I can have two initialization. I can have two increment decrement. I will come later for terminating condition. As of now, you remember, I can have two initialization and multiple initialization with comma, but not by semicolon. One semicolon means, first semicolon means my initializations are over, whether I have initialized one variable or multiple variable. Is this much part clear? Just writing part is clear?
But ma'am, why should we use why should we use initialize this two variable?
Why should we use means inside the for loop, I can use a single for loop for increment and decrement of two variables. I can use for loop for increment and decrement of more than two variables. Suppose you want to, okay, I will tell you. Suppose you want to perform some operation on I and j. Okay. I will take I value initialized to 0. I will take j value initialized to 1. Then I will perform multiplication between I and j. There is a program where you have to do multiplication between two consecutive values. So first time my values will be values to be multiplied will be I and j, where I is 0 and j is 1. Second time I will be incrementing I and I will be incrementing j also. So what will be the value of I? It will be 1, j will become 2. So in next multiplication, what will be the value? 1 and 2. Again, I will be incremented, j will be incremented. So it will be 2 and 3. Will be multiplying next two consecutive number, that is 2 and 3. So I can make a for loop enable to multiply or add two consecutive values by using two variables. So in this case, I need to initialize two variables.
Ma'am, in that, ma'am, actually that you have initialized two variables here, but in that for loop you just used I less than 5, I plus plus.
Yes.
And ma'am, how the j will work here?
That's what I'm coming later. So ij initialization part is clear.
Yes.
Similarly, I can have k also. Now, according to the need of the program, I will go for the initialization part. If I feel for the sake of my program, I need to initialize only I will initialize only I. I obviously could have given comma j plus plus. That is correct. This is a sample program I am showing because I want you to check the output. So I can just change it, what you are asking, by I plus plus comma j plus plus. Then in next round, next iteration, what would have been the value of I and j? Both 1 and 1. Clear?
Okay.
But in this case, one second. In this case, what will be the next iteration value? That is only your doubt, I think. I will be incremented to 1, but what will be the value of j?
0, ma'am.
Yes, j will remain 0. Third iteration, I will be incremented from 0 to 1 to then third iteration 2. What will be the value of 0? What will be the value of j? It will remain same, 0. Now your doubt is clear?
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Then if we use here, like if we want to increment the value, then we should use in that way, that I less than 5, then comma j less than 5, then
Yes. Right? Yes. You can keep two conditions. You can keep two increment, decrement. But why I have not used here? Because this is actually we are very new. But in this case, you need to understand. Suppose this is an MCQ. This is a multiple choice question in your interview. So in that question, they have formed like that key. They are not incrementing j. It does not have any purpose. It has the purpose to confuse you. Okay, so I won't increment here j by writing j plus plus. I'm not doing, but I could have done it. But I'm not doing in this program because I want in this situation what will be the output of the program. Okay, but you must know that j can be incremented. You can have many more variables. You can have out of many more, few incremented, few decremented, few not touched. Like j we did not touch other than initialization.
Ma'am,
Okay.
is it to to perform increment and decrement at the same time? Like if we give the value of I 5 and greater than is equal to 1 and we value of j 0 to 5, then is it possible like at the same time?
One second, can you tell?
I said that, ma'am, is it possible in a for loop to increment and decrement like the two operations will happen? Is it possible? Like if we
Two
use
operation can happen, but here if I give I minus minus, sorry, if I give I minus minus, what is the use? I will be incremented and immediately I will be decremented, so I will not change. But I can make use of j and I can use decrement operation. So next loop j will be decremented. Parallelly on the same variable, if I am doing increment, immediately if I am doing decrement, so what will happen? Both will just cancel its effect. 1 plus and 1 minus will cancel the effect of increment decrement. Is it clear? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So if I do on the same variable increment and decrement parallelly, then both will cancel each other's effect. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So I can do increment decrement, but see, logically this is correct. Like you can ask me what will be the output of this program. So I will not change. I will remain same. Okay. And one more thing, can you tell me what will happen? I will neither increment or not decrement. So I will remain same. So whether I will be always remaining less than 5. Yes. So what will happen for this for loop? I less than 5 will be always true. What we discussed just now. If the terminating condition is being always true, then the for loop will be entering to the infinite loop. Okay. So it will be continuously executing. It will not stop. Okay. In this case. So this is a situation what you told, you have helped us to make one MCQ. So in any way they will give this and they will ask you to answer the correct one from the given answer. Okay. So can you as of now tell me, if there is no doubt, what will be the output? Already we have discussed. What will be the output as of now, whatever program code we have? Think and tell me. What is the value of I for the first time? Yes, anyone is answering?
0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0 and 4, 0.
Okay. Is it correct? What all of you feel? Anyhow, I will leave it to you, but what your friend has told, let us try to explain. What he has told is I is equals to 0 for the first time and j value is equals to also 0 for the first time. Clear? So this is iteration 1 over. Second iteration. What will be the I value? I value will be equals to 1. But what about j value? J value will be equals to 0 only. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So first time what answer output will get? 0, 0, first iteration. Second iteration what we will get? 1, 0. Iteration number 3. In that, what will be the I value? I will be incremented. So I will be equals to 2 and j we have not incremented. So j will remain 0. So what output will get? 2 0. So it leads to which answer? So your friend is absolutely correct. It is 0 0, 1 0, 2 0, 3 0, 4 0 and so on. Clear? Not so on, in the sense 4 is the last value to be printed. Is it understandable by all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Similarly, from where we came, this one, in this case, it means what you know. I will just change it. Suppose here I equals to 0 and here I will write I less than 5 and I will take here I plus plus. Here what I will do is I will take j equals to 0. I will make this true only. I will make this true only. I won't give anything. I will not give any increment or decrement. Okay. So in this case, what will happen? Can you tell me? With I equals to 0, control will enter to the next line. What is there in the next line? J equals to 0. Okay. Terminating condition is not there. So it is true. So what will be printed for the first time? What will be printed for the first time?
Hello.
It will be printing hello. Next time. This is called a nested for loop, which I will teach you in the next class properly with all the outputs. But because I have asked you, so up to one level I will give answer, then we will summarize the session. So I value will be incremented, so it will become 1. This is again true. J equals to 0 and this is true. So hello will be printed. Hello will be printed. Similarly, I will become 2.
Hello will be printed 4 times.
Hello will be printed 4 times. Next, when I will be equals to 5, this loop will terminate, control will not enter inside and no more hello to be printed. So you can say that what example you have seen, it is an equivalent example with the help of nested for loop. So what is the meaning of nested for loop is by taking the first value, initialized value of the first variable, that is I here, terminating condition will be checked and control will enter inside, and as we know that it is supposed to perform the instruction whatever is given. So here what is the instruction? In the sense statement here, another for loop. So don't take it otherwise. It is an for loop, no? So it will also be executed as for loop executes. So what will happen? J is initialized, terminating condition, and this part also will be considered. I will give the proper example next class. This is also proper example, but this may be little hi-fi. So I don't want to make it as a base example. So terminating condition will be checked. Suppose if the terminating condition was j less than 2. Take it j less than 2 and j plus plus. So in this case, what will happen? One hello will be printed.
Hello will be
yes.
No, 2 times. Hello will be printed 2 times.
Yes. Okay, so first hello will be printed. Let us check. Then next time I value will be okay. Now the question is where the control will move. Control will move to the inner loop. Control will move to the inner loop because this J loop should be completed. J loop should be completed. Okay, so J loop, actually the previous example what we understood 4 times may not be 4 times, that I wanted to tell you, because this was true. Actually we must explain the answer, otherwise one thing you notice here. Let me remove everything. Let me keep one time hello. Here, if I am giving any terminating condition, fine. Otherwise, what will happen? You know, what will happen? This will remain true. and control can never go out. Control can never go out of this for loop. Can never go out of this for loop. So what example I have given you for understanding may not be as of now correct, because we don't know the proper thing, and I could not able to answer the could not able to discuss the proper thing, because the normal this thing we don't know. But as of now, you just understand with this, with the help of this. Then I will go back to this in the next class and explain that hello printing. You just see one thing. If I write j less than 2, so once hello is j equals to 0, so hello is printed. Now j will be incremented to 1. Now 1 is 2. So yes, you are absolutely correct. Hello is printed. Now j loop is over. J will become 2. So 2 is less than 2? No. So now we will go back to the outer for loop. Let me repeat. You are starting with outer for loop. Your I equals to 0. Then taking I equals to 0, you have enter inside. Now inside is another for loop. So that for loop has to be completely over. So with this concept, your previous output will not be 4 times hello. Okay, that we'll discuss today. It will be little more complex because we have not gone through the actual concept. So J for loop will be completely over, and by the time J for loop gets completely over, how many times hello got printed? 2 times. Is it clear? Is it clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Then again first for loop will start with the value of I equals to 1. With the value of I equals to 1, again J for loop will start, and hello will be printed again 2 times. Hello will be printed.
Why 2 times?
Because J is again initialized to 0. Okay, so 3rd time hello is printed. Then J will be 1. 1 is less than 2. So again hello will be printed. Is it clear?
No, ma'am.
It is not clear. Okay, time is getting increased actually. I equals to 0. With I equals to 0, you are entering inside. Inside what is there? Another for loop is there. As of now, you don't consider this for loop. I equals to 0. How many times hello would have printed? How many
2
times?
times.
2 times. Inner for loop is over. Outer for loop I am giving. So what will be the value of I? I equals to 1 now. Remember I equals to 1. I equals to 1. For that, again this for loop will be executed.
Printed 5 times.
Then how many times now again hello will be printed? Again 2 times?
2 times.
Again 2 times? So I am writing just H. Again 2 times. Clear? Now control will move to outer.
And I value is
I value is 2.
And again hello
Remember
is
I
2
value
times.
I value is 2. So at that time, suppose if only this was there, how many times hello would have got printed?
2
Again
times.
2 times. Okay.
I understand,
So
ma'am.
total 4 into 2 times hello will be printed. Okay, I am winding up the session because it is little late, and please don't feel anything if this concept is not clear. I will be taking a simple example and explaining what is the nested for loop. Okay, is it clear?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
of you unmute yourself. All of you unmute yourself. Only except nested part. Remaining things I am asking. Nested part, because for the sake of question it came, I have introduced that, but this I will start freshly in the next class. It's a very important concept. All of you join next class. Then we will discuss all twisted interview questions regarding nested for loop. I will start from the basic of nested for loop. You don't need to even remember this one. You will understand. Then again we will go back to the same example. Clear? Other than this last concept may not be clear for everyone. Other than that, for everyone, everything is clear. Today's content.
Yes, ma'am.
All of you. All of you.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So thank you so much. You can. We'll stop the session today. Okay. Thank you so much.